order. We don't know who's going to be racing against each other, and we're going to find out with the SuperPole. Essentially a one-lap shootout with the fastest driver going in pole position in one of the heats, and the sixth fastest taking the pole position in the second race. So a one-lap shootout around this, 1,000 metre, essentially just under track here, 1,000 metres above sea level. It's going to be dramatic. It's always dramatic. The one-lap shootout, though, sets the grids, the all-important grids for Heat 1.
Really does, and you know, they have one opportunity, one chance, one lap to go, and you need to be performing from the grid till the end.
Absolutely right, and somebody else who needs to be performing from start to finish is Hal Ridge, and alongside him, our commentator, Nick Fellows.
Thanks to Bryn and Thomas there down on the grid. We're getting ready for the SuperPole. This is a very exciting part of the day. It's the opening round of the FIA World Rallycross Championship for 2023. 10 drivers are ready to go, Hal. We have 10 rounds this season, and it's our 10th anniversary. The track here at Montalegre is unique. We love it. The drivers love it. Tell us a little bit more about what makes it so special and what the key to success is here today.
This is really a track of two halves. The first part is a very high grip tarmac section, down a very long start, finish straight into the first corner. Then you climb back up the hill over some big curves on the tarmac. Joker lap to your right, that's on the loose. But at the end of the lap, as you see on the left of the screen, the greyed out area, that is very, very loose gravel, massive curbs, loads of attitude in the car. Really important to be aggressive with the car, but also very, very precise. This is where we see the world's best rallycross drivers at their absolute best.
It's a scintillating start as well. It has you right on the edge of your seats from the launch, from the green light get-go, because it's downhill. The speeds that they are picking up, the acceleration of these cars is truly amazing. But the SuperPole is not wheel to wheel. The SuperPole is one driver, car and track, and they're all up against the clock. And the fastest will get the advantage going into the heats. So first up is Timo Scheider, part of the allinkle.com team. An experienced driver, many of you will know the name, in F3, DTM, GT2, but he makes his debut in the all-electric World Rallycross this season.
This track will be super fast on one side, but very technical on the other side of the track. We have twisty parts on dirt and super high-speed parts on tarmac, so I'm super pumped to go out here.
Timo Scheider, who's got 2 podiums in internal combustion engines in World Rallycross, but this is him making his debut all electric. And this will be fascinating. Now he's in the allinkle.com Munich Motorsport Seat Ibiza. They've got a new car possibly coming mid-season. But this is all about learning the all-electric twin-engine four-wheel drive setup for the German driver. Wait for that green light, watch the clock carefully, and our resident expert analyst, Hal Ridge, will guide us through the performance.
The start, even though this isn't a race, it's a single lap shootout to set the best lap time, is absolutely critical because the straight is so long here. You carry all of that momentum all the way down to the first corner. The start light system is the same as it is for the races. Away Scheider goes. He's the first driver to tackle SuperPole for 2023. The order is reverse championship order from the 2022 season, and then number order at the start for those that didn't compete last year. So Scheider is first on track. A lot of understeer on the exit of the first corner into the Joker lap for the first time. The Joker used in this SuperPole run, so you don't really get an idea where the times are at compared to free practice because you're using a fundamentally different lap. Look how clean it is through that bottom section of the circuit, and now we're onto the really big curbs, the really loose gravel towards the end of the lap. So while since Scheider's been here, he's run wide in the longest of the corners, climbing back up the hill over that big curb in the left-hander. Now it's this very tight chicane to end the lap. He's going to set the first time of the season in SuperPole. It's a
1:37.842 is the first time on screen for Timo Scheider. It's going to be a learning process as the season unfolds for Timo. Let's hear what he has to say about that SuperPole performance.
Timo, first run out in the RX1e car for you. Just talk about it. You must be an awesome experience to drive this car for the first time.
Well, being back in the paddock, first of all, is just a great feeling. Of course, we have to catch up a lot, so it's just the first time for us being out there. For me, no testing, no nothing, so it's like learning every lap. But it's cool to be back, and I love to be here.
Really good to have you back, Timo. I can see the smile under your face. If we just get you out of the car, we're going to wait for the next driver to come round.
Well, Timo himself absolutely clear that this is all about learning this brand new all-electric car for the German driver. A few issues with the timing. Let's not look too deeply into that first time, but we'll get it all reset and sorted. But there is no question, as one of the most experienced drivers in the field, Timo Scheider will learn very quickly indeed.
It's a big ask for any experienced driver to deliver at this level, including the man that's up next.
Yes, and this is the one that we're all getting very excited about. It is such a pleasure to have Sebastian Loeb, the 9 times World Rally champion with 80 wins against his name, rejoining the family of FIA World Rallycross. He's in the Special One racing team, and it's an amazing car.
Yeah, this track is one of the most technical one, I think, with a very long and technical gravel section. It's always difficult to put everything together, but it's what we have to do.
Welcome back, Sebastian Loeb, and he's been on the podium here in Montalegre a couple of times in his career, 2016 and 2018. So here we go, second driver in the SuperPole with Sebastian Loeb making his comeback to the FIA World Rallycross Championship in this spectacular Lancia Delta Evo E RX. Very much in the spirit of the Lancia Delta Integrale, the Group B, world favourite, I have to say, of the late 80s and the early 90s. Here is one of the world's greatest drivers making his all-electric debut here in Montalegre. This one's got the fans on the edge of their seat. Am I asking too much, Hal, for him to go top in the first race of the season?
It's a big ask. The Delta is still in the development phase, having made its debut in the final round of last season. But now we're about to find out what the 9-time World Rally Champion can do. 3 seasons of World RX under his belt before he stopped competing a few years ago. Nice and tidy on the way into turn 1. Not too much oversteer on the exit. Now he's going to go right into the Joker from this wonderful Jones shot. Surface changes to gravel. It's very slippery through this section. And now back onto the tarmac for the first time of asking. Through this compression, riding on board with Loeb. You saw on the pre-shot the map of the circuit on board with him. He won't be looking at that now. Through this long gravel section, runs the car a bit out wide, but then gets nice late apex. Better than Scheider through there. We haven't got times just at the moment as he drives to the line through these barriers.
Takes the checker flag nice and early there. Very tight with his racing line in the closeout of the 13 corners. I think it's fair to say, looking a little rusty in the opening turns, but really found his rhythm and pace to close out there, Loeb. Let's go down to Luke and hear what the Frenchman has to say about his performance.
Sebastian, first official run in the all-new Special One Lancia Delta Evo E RX. How was it?
It was okay. Tricky to find the grip this morning, tricky to understand all the setup of the car because we arrived here with a full new car. So yeah, it's not so easy to get in a rhythm, but okay, we try to understand some things. It's getting better and better, so hopefully we can get in the rhythm.
Thank you, Seb. Thank you. Sebastian.
Some tiny issues with the timing at the moment, but Loeb is quicker than Scheider. Let's have a look back at that run. Very equal starts in all of these electric machines. Every tiny little detail counts. Loeb nice and tidy through the gravel of the Joker, working away at the wheel. He told me yesterday he was lacking in experience compared to the other drivers, and it's almost laughable really, but what he meant was that he's lacking experience of electric rallycross cars. His experience in motorsport is absolutely not in doubt at all, is it? And I think we'll see him get quicker and quicker as the season goes on.
Yeah, great words, Hal. Special One Racing have another driver, and it is Guerlain Chicherit, the genius behind this concept of bringing the Lancia Delta Integrale back to the world of rally and car racing. And Chicherit himself is a fine driver and a driver to watch.
Yeah, this track is probably one of the most difficult tracks to find the right setup, to find the right speed, because the curves are really, really aggressive. The grip is always changing, the weather is also quite difficult. So we need to adapt really quickly on this track, so let's make it happen.
Well, Guerlain Chicherit is one of many mountain men that have made their way into the world of motorsport. He's a 4-time world free-riding champion in the mountains, but also a very fast driver indeed. As we said earlier, the genius with the Special One Racing idea and concept to bring this Lancia back to the track. It's now known as the Lancia Delta Evo ERX. And let's see if Guerlain Chicherit can get the better of his own teammate. That is Sebastian Loeb, who sets the pace at 48.706 seconds.
The first driver that everybody in motorsport wants and needs to be is their teammate. That's a massive ask for Guerlain Chicherit when he's got Sebastian Loeb in exactly the same car. But what a driver to learn from as well. These two drive together in cross-country events a lot, and now they're together here in World RX. Chicherit has had a lot of experience of rallycross in the past, was fantastic in the Nürburgring for the final round of the 2022 season, and he's very neat and tidy through the first corner. His teammate Loeb is fastest at the moment. Chicherit very tidy on the way into the Joker. Not much rotation in the car at all. Now it's back onto the tarmac. Through this dip, the camera angle really takes away how big that compression is, and now really throwing the Delta around on the loose surface section. He's lost a 10th in sector 2 to teammate Loeb, but he's nice, neat and tidy through this final part of the lap. Oh, the car just jumps off the curb through this massive curb in the left-hander up the hill. Between the barriers, this is going to be close, Nick.
Watch the checkered flag carefully. Here goes the clock, and he's off the pace by just under half a second behind Sebastian Loeb. Chicherit was the first to admit that the software issues of the big practice weekend last weekend here in Portugal was the major issue for the Special One Racing team. That is work in progress, and you can clearly see that that progress is starting to go the right way. Guerlain Chicherit, an experienced race driver and a brilliant team principal to go with it as well. It is Special One Racing in positions 1 and 2 with the Hanson brothers watching on there.
There is Chicherit warming himself up, psyching himself up for this single lap. He was really neat and tidy, wasn't he, on the way into the Joker and in the final corner. Much less rotation in his Lancia Delta than for teammate Loeb. And that'll give them some more data to analyse ahead of the heat races where they go head-to-head later on today. Chicherit currently second fastest.
Next up is Clara Anderson from the construction equipment dealer team driving the PWR RX1e. Clara had a sensational race here by taking her first podium of her career.
We're in Portugal, amazing venue, great fans, one of the coolest tracks I've ever driven on, and can't wait to go out there and push.
Well, Clara Anderson, brimming with confidence, earning her place here in the FIA World Rallycross Championship for 2023 with a sensational rookie season in 2022, finishing 7th in the overall championships. With season 1 in the book in an all-electric PWR, season 2, I believe, could be something very special for Clara Anderson indeed. This is a young lady to watch very carefully as the season unfolds. Let's see if Anderson can get the better of the legend Sebastian Loeb as we take the SuperPole to the halfway point.
Lots of changes to the CE dealer team's PWR car for 2023. Anderson talked a lot last season about out of her comfort zone here in Montalegre. She's got a lot of tarmac, neat and tidy circuit racing experience, moving the car around on the loose, like here in the Joker Lap section, is something she's had to learn, and she learned quickly on the podium here last year. Nice and tidy through that Joker section, now runs down the hill, get onto the curb on the right hand side, Don't upset the car too much. She runs into the loose gravel a little bit on the outside. The nose of the car dips off the curb. She's quickest so far in the opening sector. She's dropped a tenth or two to Loeb in sector 2, and now it's all about driving up the hill, neat and tiny through the final chicane.
23-year-old Swedish driver looking to beat the legend Sebastian Loeb. She goes across the line, 48.814. Oh, that is so close. Clara Anderson goes into second position, just over a tenth off the pace of Loeb, who leads. But this young lady, when we go wheel-to-wheel racing in just an hour or so's time, will be one to watch. You can see Anderson's confidence is high. Loeb's not sure whether he's at the top of the table or not, but I can confirm that Sebastian Loeb is ahead of Clara Anderson.
I'm going to guess.
What an opportunity for a driver like Clara Anderson to be competing head-to-head with an all-time motorsport great like Sebastian Loeb. And you can see how much Loeb's enjoying it there as he looks at the timesheets. This was a good lap from Clara, fastest of all in the first sector so far. Just dropped a tenth or two later on. You saw the car ride off the curb in this latter section, but she'll be pleased to get through this. Of course she wants to be quickest, like everyone does, and now it's all about focusing for Heat 1 later on today.
Great stuff from Clara Anderson. Now, next up is Gustav Bergström, a rookie in the 2022 season. But what a rookie season he had, picking off 3 podiums from 10 races in 2022. Another young, rising Swedish star at just 20 years of age.
The best thing about Montalegre is, of course, the gravel section and the first section on the track, because it's so fast.
Well, he got a bit of a reputation for his lightning launches in his rookie year last season. And Bergström, again, learnt so much as part of the KMS team. Such a young, raw talent. Bergström again, another youngster with an opportunity to try and go ahead of one of the superheroes of his career. A chance to go better than the great Sebastian Loeb. The target is set at 48.706 seconds.
This was the car to beat in the 2022 FIA World Rallycross Championship. Gustav Bergström achieved maiden podiums in his first ever full season at this level. He's done a lot of Porsche racing recently as well in circuit racing, and that will only help him in this high grip section of the Montalegre lap. In turn 1, gets the Volkswagen nicely slowed down, hangs the apex all the way around, and now drives back up the hill into the Joker lap section. He's easily quickest in the opening sector, purple opening sector for Gustav Bergström. He was quick this morning in free practice as well. A lot of rotation in the Volkswagen to get out of the Joker, back down the hill, stays off the curb on the right-hand side. He's run the nose right up to the barrier on the left. He's fastest in sector 2 as well by almost a full tenth of a second. Loads of rotation in the Volkswagen in the tightest corner on the circuit, and now he's driving back up the hill with massive aggression on his way to the line.
Brilliant performance from Bergström as he goes for the checkered flag, and Bergström, 48.184, goes top of the table for the KMS Motorsport team. Gustav Bergström kickstart 2023 with a brilliant performance in SuperPole, taking the lead from Sebastian Loeb.
Five drivers down, 5 to go, and Bergström was quickest in every single one of the 3 sectors around this lap. Nice and tidy early on, and then got really aggressive, just like he was in free practice earlier on today. Look at the rotation in the Volkswagen, climbing up the curb, hammering the curb on the left-hand side, and then flicking the car left to right in the run to the line.
First of the Hansen brothers is next up in this SuperPole one-lap shootout. It's Kevin Hansen, 3 times a runner-up on the Tour of 2022, hungry for victory in 2023.
Coming off the start, incredibly fast and almost 200 kilometers an hour, hitting the brakes and down to 40 kilometers an hour. It's a super tricky braking. Got a tarmac section in the beginning, which is really, need to be neat and tidy and really a stiff and good car for that. But then getting onto the gravel, the most extreme one of the year, and ending the lap with so much aggressive driving over those curves is really an amazing lap.
Kevin was a model of consistency last season, scoring points in every round. Only one small hiccup where he had a disappointing start in Norway in 2022 7th, but since then in the final in just about every race that he entered. 5th in the overall championship for last season, but many believe this season could well be his big breakthrough. A brilliant driver, exciting, determined, sometimes aggressive, makes him a real fan favourite.
Kevin Hansen has one objective this season. That's not to score race wins. That's not to finish somewhere on the podium. It's to be World Rallycross champion. He's been at this game a while and feels like now is his time. They've done a lot of work on this 208 RX1e up in Götene, Sweden, with the Hansen squad over the winter. Been a little bit off the pace in free practice compared to some of the others, but what's to say they're not trying different things in the car as well, and now is when it really matters in this single lap shootout that will determine the grid for Heat 1. Look at that fantastic view of this Montalegre circuit down the hill into the first corner. Hansen gets nice rotation done mid-corner, over the curve on the exit, drives up to the Joker, riding on board with a Swede. You've got to be so careful in the early phase of the Joker lap so you don't run wide and hit the wall. That happened in testing to the Hansen squad. Hansen is not quicker than Gustav Bergström in Sector 1. Gets nice rotation in the car, but nowhere near the wall compared to Bergström on the inside there in Sector 2. He's gone faster than Bergström in Sector 2, so this is going to be nip and tuck in the run to the line. Climbs the curve. This is where he clobbers the curve and gets on two wheels. He does it again as he climbs back towards the finish line.
Watch that time, watch that clock. 48.110. That is enough to put Kevin Hansen ahead of the young Swedish driver Gustav Bergström. Hansen goes top of the table and puts the heat on the likes of Veiby Gronholm, his older brother Timmy, and of course defending champion Johan Kristoffersson to go sub 48 to take top position.
Hansen did all of that in sectors 2 and 3. In sector 1, Bergström was a significant amount quicker, so the work that Kevin did later in the lap, all it did was get him 0.07 of a second up the road. Shows how close these cars are on pace, and I cannot wait to see the action unfold later on because this field is absolutely stacked.
We're getting right down to the business end now. The big names are coming fast and furious. And next up is the Norwegian driver, O.C. Veiby. Now, Veiby had a sensational comeback to World Rallycross after 7 years away, picking up 5 podiums, but still searching for the first win of his World Rallycross career.
This track here in Portugal is super cool. This gravel section that we have is really something special. To smash over the curbs is something that we really like.
Veiby was runner-up in both here last year when Montalegre delivered a brilliant double header. So Veiby for many is one of the big favourites to push Kristoffersson, or are there team rules within KMS? We will have to wait and see how the weekend unfolds, but there's no question, Hal. If OC can drive the way he did here last year, he's going to be one of the names to watch very carefully.
This is a circuit that should suit Ole Christian Veiby's rally style, all of his rally experience coming into massive use towards the end of the lap. OC Veiby was second fastest to teammate Johan Kristoffersson in both of the SuperPole sessions here in Montalegre last season. The weekend didn't actually unfold in the same way. OC had all sorts of little dramas through the racing weekend, but on a single lap pace, he was right there, just 0.2 of a second off Kristoffersson in the second of the SuperPole runs. This year, though, nice and tidy through turn 1, riding on board into the Joker. Oh, it feels so slow, doesn't it, as you get the car stopped to avoid that barrier. Lots of rotation there from Veiby with all that rally experience. He's not as quick as teammate Bergström in Sector 1, but he's quicker than Kevin Hansen. Now he's gone quickest of all in Sector 2. So this really is going to be between Bergström and Veiby towards the end of the lap, depending on what happens here. Kevin Hansen, of course, quickest at the moment. Massive jump for Veiby over that curve.
Hits that curve hard, almost flips the car. There's the time, 47.276. That's the first sub 48 time from OC Veiby, comfortably at the top of the table, over 0.8 clear of Kevin Hansen. Wow. Now going second. Bergström pushed down into third. Those final corners from Veiby were aggressive. How fast and furious, comfortably the leader, OC Veiby.
That was a strong run, wasn't it? Last year's fastest time in SuperPole by Kristoffersson was a 47.3 twice on both days. Fabi's now gone and done a 47.2, so that is the fastest ever SuperPole lap we've seen around this circuit.
Great work from OC Baby with 3 drivers left to go in this SuperPole shootout. Next up is the flying Finn, Niklas Gronholm, who was a winner here after some issues with the stewards for Johan Kristoffersson last season. But there is no question, the 27-year-old from the construction equipment dealer team is one of the drivers to watch this year.
We're in Montalegre. In my opinion, the best and the most beautiful track of the calendar, with a nice gravel section in the end. A lot of riding on the big curbs and stuff. It's amazing.
He's won here twice before. He said it himself. He loves this track. He was 3rd in the overall standings for last season. If he can just strike that chord of consistency throughout 2023, many believe, and I am one of them, that Niklas Gronholm can really push Timmy Hansen and Johan Kristoffersson and push them all the way to the 2023 championship title.
Niklas much closer to the ultimate pace in pre-season testing and free practice earlier on. He was fastest in free practice too this morning. Much more happy with the car. The C dealer team squad has made a lot of changes. Look at the new front end, re-evaluated to keep finding performance, and now this is Niklas Gronholm's opportunity to continue that momentum. He's got the momentum going down the hill. A good start, consistent car starts amongst all of these cars. Will he get a lot of rotation on in the first corner? No, he doesn't. Leans on the front axle. A lot of understeer as he climbs up to the Joker again. Very neat and tidy. Gets more rotation on the car on the way in. That helps him on the exit. Nice run for Niklas Gronholm through there, but he's not as quick as Bergström or Baby so far. Now we ride on board. Look at these massive curves. He's pointing at the wall on the left. Gets the car swung around to the right, and now it's all about trying to get the car sideways and back to the curve for the end of this corner. What a fantastic view. Pop over the massive curve on the left-hand side, and it's threading the eye of a needle through the barrier, but he's made a mistake in the latter part of the lap. He's lost a lot of time.
Gronholm takes that checkered flag. Oh, 49.33. Hal, you spotted it perfectly. That 3rd split sector time, 1.7 off the pace. Brilliant in the opening 2 sectors, but lost it all on that climb up to the checkered flag for Gronholm. And Gronholm goes into 7th position. That'll be a surprise for many.
You'll be disappointed with that. They had a drive shaft problem with the car yesterday in free practice, and he spun almost in that very same spot. I don't think there's such issues here. A lot of pressure on these drivers to deliver it in a single lap shootout. Wonderful to see it again in this replay package, but he just got a lot of rotation done on the car and just couldn't quite save it. This is where we were riding on board. Look how close he was to the wall on the left. I love seeing the attitude of these cars, really wide there at the bottom of the hill, and just ran too deep into the deep loose gravel, and that's where he lost the car.
Well, next up is Timmy Hansen, who made his FIA World Rallycross debut here in 2014, here in Montalegre. He took the World Championship title in 2019, and he was runner-up to Johan Kristoffersson in last season's campaign.
All of the work now has led up to this moment. It's SuperPole, we're gonna go racing, and there's no holding back on this track. We've gotta be super aggressive to make a good lap time, so all in, send it, let's make a good time.
And when Timmy Hansen says all in and send it, we all move to the edge of our seats. Coming off the back of 3 straight podiums, including a victory in the last 3 races of 2022, Timmy Hansen is now looking to pick it up where he left off. The Hansen team have worked so hard in the pre-season to get the setup of this Peugeot exactly where Timmy needs it. And this is the first challenge of 2023. Timmy Hansen looking to take the lead from Veiby, looking to put the pressure on Johan Kristoffersson, the defending champion, who will be the last driver to race in this SuperPole shootout.
All of that work is so critical to ultimate lap time. I think this year lap time is going to be more important than ever. We're going to see more racing with the new software updates in these all-electric cars. The cars are much more drivable with the changes that have been made, and of course the teams are far more on top of the cars and the package they've got compared to the first ever season last year. And Timmy Hansen, as you say, Nick, is really determined to take the fight to Johan Kristoffersson. Timmy Hansen, the only driver to have raced in every single FIA World Rallycross event in history, but he's not quicker than the fastest time in Sector 1 so far. Back onto the tarmac with the Peugeot 208 RX1e, really wide down the hill, misses the curb completely, not as aggressive as Gronholm through the middle part of the lap. Hansen again not quicker than Veiby or those ahead of him in Sector 2. Now climbing up the hill, stays more off the curb than his teammate and brother Kevin Hansen. I don't think this is going to be enough.
He's got to tighten the line, he needs a fast closeout. Timmy Hansen, 48.025. Timmy Hansen goes into runner-up position. OC Veiby holds top spot, one driver left to go. Timmy Hansen, it's a good time, but it is not good enough to go top of the table.
To me, Hansen didn't look fully on top of the car there compared to how we have seen him in the past. 0.7 of a second off Veiby in the overall times, and now there's only one driver that can push Veiby off the top step in the first SuperPole of 2023. Hansen avoided this curve on the left much more than Kevin Hansen. The car still bucked up in the air, so close to that wall on the right. Not quite enough to get to the front of the order.
And next up is the most successful rallycross racer of the current generation. It's the 5 times world champion, Johan Kristoffersson. 35 wins and 49 podiums against his name.
Off the start line, very fast braking into T1, and then you have to get through the joker. After that, the action starts on this track, and if you nail that gravel section, you can gain a lot of time.
So close to doing the double here last year. Johan Kristoffersson won the first of the 2 races, but was penalised for hitting Hansen late on, and therefore was given a 10-second penalty and pushed down into 5th position. Other than that, in 2022, to take the championship title, Johan Kristoffersson won 8 out of 10 races. He's the odds-on favourite to pick it up where he left off, winning the last race of the season in Germany for 2022. Looked brilliant in the practice sessions and incredibly confident to go with it. Can Kristoffersson start 2023 with a win in SuperPole? Hold tight, because this will be quick, I promise.
So far, Gustav Bergström has the best Sector 1 time, and then KMS stablemate Ole Christian Veiby is fastest in Sector 2 and Sector 3. This is the driver that can beat both of them in each of those sectors, though. Johan Kristoffersson through turn 1, now up to the joker, and he is quickest in Sector 1 so far. Flicks the Volkswagen either way in the joker section. Now, massive grip change from loose onto tarmac, through the hole in the middle of the lap, now over this massive curve, looking at the wall on the left-hand side. Get the car flicked to the right. He's fastest again in Sector 2. Kristoffersson is absolutely brilliant in SuperPole. Up the hill, watch the curb on the left, gets the car flicked up in the air, and now he's driving for the line.
Brilliant, total control. Kristoffersson kickstarts 2023 in style. 46.768, over half a second ahead of Kristoffersson. That is a spectacular start for the defending champion. Absolutely brilliant. Thumbs up, punch to the air. Kristoffersson knows it's good, Hal, and what a way to start the new season.
I don't know what's more impressive here, Nick. The fact he's half a second quicker than his teammate, or the fact that he's 1.2 seconds quicker than Timmy Hansen, who's 3rd overall and best of the rest after the KMS cars. Kristoffersson was well on top of the Volkswagen here, wasn't he? Getting the rotation done nice and early, staying off the curbs in these new cars, but right on the curb there on the left-hand side, so close to the wall. Makes that long corner one apex, doesn't he? Gets the rotation done early, stays sideways all the way through it. Took a lot of curb there on the left. That's as much as I've seen him take through all of the 3 practice sessions. An absolute precision through the final chicane.
Let's go down to Luke and hear what Johan has to say about that spectacular start to the season.
Johan, you've got the 5 stars in your suit there, and that's a perfect start on your hunt for the 6th World Championship. But just looking at the video there, you said you even lost some time on that last few corners there, and you were half a second quicker the field. Awesome drive, mate.
I think that's always how it feels like. When you push maximum, there is always some places where you will lose a little bit of time because you push that hard. And I saw Ole Christian's time were just amazing, and he was out a couple of cars ahead of me, so I had a little bit of advantage to be out later. Luckily the rain didn't come, so but yeah, he had a fantastic lap, and yeah, well done to the team. Gustav has great pace, and Ole Christian is also super fast, so we are very satisfied with that. But of course, you know, it's different when you're racing side by side, but yeah, in a couple hours we'll know if we sorted out the starts as well.
Must be a great feeling in the team, just listening on the commentary there. You're swapping sector times. Ole was quickest in second. He thought you were going to be quickest in first, but Gustav was. It must be a great feeling to have such free data sharing across the team.
Yeah, of course, and that also pushes us forward. And I mean, here we've been now for a couple of days testing, so here it's a little bit easier to sort out when you do a bit more laps. But on other race weekends, you don't have so many laps to drive before it's SuperPole, and then you have to have everything nailed. So it's great to have 2 really, really fast teammates.
Great start, Johan.
Thank you.
Early days, long way to go, and a very exciting weekend lies ahead. But I have to say, Johan Kristoffersson already has us roaring with delight at the end of that SuperPole performance. 0.508 ahead of Ossi Väby in second spot. Timmy Hansen will be disappointed to find himself 1.25 seconds behind Kristoffersson. Younger brother Kevin, 1.342 off the pace. Gustav Bergström taking 5th position. 3 KMS drivers in the top 5. Loeb settles for 6th. Anderson, Schischerit, Gronholm and Timo Scheider down in 10th position. But it is Johan Kristoffersson with a spectacular start to the weekend's racing who takes the victory in SuperPole. Let's go down to Bryn and hear more.
Wow, that was phenomenal. I mean, Johan Kristoffersson was standing there watching on. He looked so calm, so relaxed. Timmy went out, couldn't do it, was 7/10 off of OC, and Johan does that. I mean, we've run out of superlatives, haven't we?
But you know, he said that I could try the first sector, maybe I have a half a 10 to go on. He beats Gustav, but Gustav Bergström has the fastest time in sector 1. He comes in, beats it by 200 a second, but from there on, he just smashed it. That says so much about how good of a driver Johan is.
Yeah, and it must be so tough for Timmy and for Kevin Hansen, because you think about it, those guys there, they've worked on that car over the winter. They go out in anger in SuperPole, and they are 1.2 seconds, 1.2 seconds behind. It's incredible. And remember, you can catch all the action from the racing door to door, wheel to wheel on World RX Plus. It's there for you. Make sure you subscribe. You'll find all of it this weekend here in Montalegre, and for the rest of the season. It is going to be absolutely incredible, and we're going to be back here very soon, 1:30 local time, for Heat 1 of both World RX and European RX1 and European RX3. We shall see you here at 1:30.